Hi there. In the previous lesson, we learned about what support is and how it works. In this lesson, we learn about resistance and how they form. So, what is resistance? If you understand support well, then resistance is very easy to grasp. Resistance is the exact opposite of support. All obvious swing highs are resistance points. Now, as we know, when the markets rally to previous resistances, there will be selling at that point, and markets may temporarily reverse. We touched resistance right here, and we fell back down. You see, resistances are obviously areas of supply, areas of selling. In any rising market, the price action eventually enters a zone wherein the majority of market participants feel that the security is getting a tad bit overvalued, hence not worth buying into or holding into. As a result, the buying starts simmering down, leading the price action to a point where it hits a sort of ceiling, a certain high price band, and then it stops going up. And because of this, bearish people come in and start selling. The reversal happens and we move down. That is what resistance is. So let's go back to the earlier Bharti Airtel chart. I've already marked all the support that we marked together here. Let's mark the resistances. It's just the opposite. You see, for support, we're looking for the market to come down. And then we're looking for the market to rally from there or go up. It's sort of a V shape, right? That's what a support looks like. But for a resistance, what we need is we need the market to go up. And then, you guessed it, it has to fall down. Very simple. And we mark that as our resistance point. So let's see over here. Let's start with this area, which is before March, end of February. We have a resistance point here. We have another one over here. Look on the right side over here. So this is a small resistance point. You can mark it, but you see, it's almost insignificant because it's made up of two bars. Over here, we had a couple of bars going up, a couple of bars going down. So that makes this area a much more potent place for a resistance line to be placed. Let's move forward. Okay, you see here at this point when the market falls down here, that makes this place an important resistance area. You mark that. We have another resistance area here. We have another resistance area here. Now, you will notice that I said earlier that when we touch support, we reverse. When we touch resistance, we reverse. But in certain areas like here, it worked out, which means the market went up. It touched the resistance area and fell down. Here it worked as well. It touched the support area and went up. But here it didn't. We actually broke out. And in certain places like here, we didn't again. So how is this really useful? Don't worry about that. At this point, just mark your support and resistance points. I'll tell you how we can use a simple method to place option orders using support and resistances. If you keep moving forward, you'll see you have bars like this. Now, this is very important. You have a red bar with a really high tail. You're not supposed to mark this because usually you'll have a freak trade which has caused this, and it's usually not very pure data. So you should stay away from things like that. Instead, you could mark this swing high, this resistance point, and this resistance point. If you move forward, so this is a new resistance point that formed here now. So you'll see, just by marking support and resistance, you can see that the trend right now is sideways. We have a breakout either side. That would probably put us into a new trending market. So that's it. That's what support and resistances are to look at. But I'm going to show you something even more interesting. How to use support and resistance together. I've got a chart here of Shree Cement open, and I'm going to start with this area here in March. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the support and resistances simultaneously and show you how that this can work out to be slightly different than what we learned. This over here, you see, is resistance. And markets rallied and we crossed the resistance to go up. All right. Now here is something you need to know. If we break the resistance point and close above it like this bar has and this bar has, markets then perceive this to be support. You know why? Because now price is above. You see, resistance is always a ceiling. So when we are under resistance, we need to puncture it to go up. But once we're above resistance, then this becomes the floor. And when we touch the floor, we bounce back up. So you'll notice here, we've always touched this area several times before launching ourselves upwards. So this is how resistance becomes support. We need to break beyond the resistance, and then that line becomes the support line. Okay, let's move forward. I have another cool example here of resistance becoming support. We draw a resistance line here, we break above it, and there's a sideways, and we launch up. So this is something that's extremely common, even more in stocks that are trending downwards. So let me open another chart. Let's go back to Bharti Airtel actually. Since we've already worked on it, let's stay on Bharti Airtel. I'm be using National Stock Exchange charts for this example. They'll mostly be the same, whether you choose BSE or NSE. So here, the markets, let's just first draw the support lines. Here you have a support line in this area, right? And you have another support line in this area. I'll keep drawing the support line this area, and you have another one in this area. So here, when the first support line breaks, this becomes resistance. We rallied, we touched, and then we started falling again. And then that continuously happened. So this is how support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. It's only once they cross. All right, so that's a lot of information in one lesson. We've learned what supports are, we've learned what resistances are. Let's see how we can use this to our advantage to actually put on trades. I'll see you in the next lesson where we'll explore that method. See you then.